All right, hey Vikings fans, welcome in to another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer and talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, we do. And this Vikings defense impressed like crazy on Christmas Day.
The offense, however, did not. But they still got the job done. The Vikings won the game.
And so did this beer. It definitely got the job done. It was the Tellurian Nectar of the Galaxies, Hazy IPA. I liked it a lot.
Delicious beer. We also had some really juicy talkers on not just this Vikings game against the Lions on Christmas Day, but even looking ahead to the Vikings coaching staff. And might I just add, Brian Flores, please stay with the Vikings.
Absolutely. So if you're ready for the Skol Hop episode 120, grab a cold one and join us. Skol.
Skol. All right, we're going to give just a quick shout out to That's Badass Wood Art. We've got a small piece of theirs here. This is one of their most popular pieces. It's their
I think so.
Skol piece with in the O is the little cutout of the state of Minnesota. But we've got a piece on commission right now, probably being made as we speak, hopefully. Mm-hmm. We'll be here in the new year, I'm assuming. And we're just big fans of their work. They do really good work. And you can get your very own That's Badass Wood Art. It doesn't have to be Vikings themed. They do all sorts of things. They do non-sports things. They do pop culture references. And it'd be perfect for the man cave, for the movie theater, for whatever you're looking to get some custom wood art done for your house. And we've got a promo code for you. If you type in our promo code, SKOLHOP, that's Skol Hop, one word, you're going to get 10% on any and all orders from That's Badass Wood Art. And we would say they do pretty good work. We can see it right here in front of us, and we're excited to get our very own custom piece here very soon.
Yeah, I think I know what the next piece I'm going to order for myself is going to be.
I see you looking at it right now.
It's titled Disgusting Act. It features a very prominent former Vikings wide receiver in a very famous pose that he did towards Packer fans one time. You should go to that'sbadasswoodart.com and check that one out. That's the next one I'm going to be buying for myself. It's just awesome. I think that'll go very nicely in the man cave. But yeah, thank you. That's Badass Wood Art.
Yeah. So we haven't had to do this in a while.
Yeah.
I got to spin the wheel.
Yes, you do. And I haven't had to do it in a long time. We talked about it last week. I don't think we looked it up the last time either of us had to spin. But I think it's when we had to wear jerseys. But yeah, this is the first time a solo spin has happened at all. Evan, you just had no faith in the Vikings going up against the Lions in the preseason, because that's, of course, when we make these picks, is the preseason right before the season starts. You thought the Vikings would lose to the Lions. O ye of little faith. That's okay, because last episode you predicted a win over the Lions.
31-0.
That was correct.
I was kind of close.
Yeah. Yeah, with 23-10. Yeah, not too far off at all. But, Evan, go ahead. Why don't you spin that wheel?
Do you want me to preview the options? Because we're down to just a few.
Yep.
I could wear the fake beard, which I think you had to do last year.
I did, and it like velcroed to the regular beard.
I don't have that problem.
It was really warm and itchy and uncomfortable.
So there's that.
Yep.
I could drink my beer, which we'll get to the beer here in a minute, out of a sippy cup.
That would be hilarious.
Sippy cup.
Yep.
We did out of silly straws last year.
I think we both had to do it, right?
We did, yep. So this would be me on my own. I could eat something spicy. We've got some spicy nuts of some sort. So
yeah, we do.
There's that.
I had something spicy last year, and I think I did like a lid full
huge thing of jalapenos.
Yeah, and I enjoy spicy food.
So it wasn't that bad for you.
Yeah, but it was still a little bit heat.
This will be bad for me.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And beer makes spicy things worse.
Yeah, it might, we might have to take a break for you to go get some milk or something. Yeah.
Okay. So there's that one. And then the last one is get sting ponged, which we still don't have ping pong paddles, but we've got like books. We have the ping pong balls. We'll figure that one out.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping we don't land on that. Just logistically, I don't know how it's going to work. I'd almost rather shoot you with a BB gun again.
Well, that's an option too. We could call an audible if we need me. We'll
play by ear. But yeah, I'm excited for most of these.
All right, here we go. I will be eating something spicy.
Yes.
All right. It's closer to you, so you're going to have to pull this out. And we'll see how this goes. I'm not excited about this at all. These are Blue Diamond Almonds Extremes Carolina Reaper, and it says with 4 flame emojis next to it, hottest.
Yeah.
You bought these.
I will be taking whatever you don't eat home because I'm kind of excited for that. I might even eat 1 or 2 right now with you, just in solidarity.
You're going to have to determine how much I eat.
I think we can fairly decide together how much you eat. Now, last year, it was like the lid of the jar full of jalapenos. I don't think this is like a 2-inch lid here. I don't think you need to fill this lid. But I don't know. An almond, it's a regular sized almond. What do you think, Ev? I think we can come up with a good... It's going to be punishing no matter what.
You put in my hand what I should eat, and I will eat it.
All right, let's just pour it all. No, just kidding. All right. We'll be fair.
That's about 4. That's 8 almonds.
Should we make it an even 10?
Sure.
10 almonds, and then I'll eat a few with you, just in solidarity.
Let me eat mine first to truly appreciate the punishment aspect of it.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Yeah. All right.
I am nervous. Almonds are you have to chew almonds. Like I can't just swallow them like pills.
I'll do the narrating.
Okay.
Kind of like you did when I had to do the cinnamon challenge. Maybe I'll ask you some yes or no questions and kind of tell the audience what your answers are.
They don't smell super spicy.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think you're going to be you're going to have a couple minutes of whew, but then you'll be fine. I really think. And then I will. I've got 4 of them here for myself after you do yours. So.
All right. You ready?
Whenever you're ready. All right. They're in. You're chewing. Oh, instantly. Oh, man, the face. You can hear him. He said that's hot. He's not joking. Evan actually doesn't enjoy spicy food.
There's going to be some coughing.
You're probably salivating. Is this one of the...
My mouth is on fire right now. This is bad. They're hot.
Oh, is this as spicy of anything you've ever eaten before? The eyes are red. There's some watering going on.
I'm tearing up.
Oh, man. All right. Well, just for that, I'm going to do an even 5. Good punishment. Yeah, the tears are starting a little bit. Not bad. Not bad. You're taking it. It's going well.
They're down, but it's still in my mouth.
Yeah, yeah. It only took you about 2 or 3 chews before your face immediately went to no.
It's like every time you breathe in, it just keeps coming.
Some of these heat stuff, it intensifies as the minutes go on. So this could get worse. We might not have seen the peak here yet.
I'm still crying.
Careful by the eyes, especially with the hand that had those in them.
I think I'm good that way.
All right.
Because I'm wiping with the back side of my hand.
Yeah, but still.
It was on the inside of my hand.
I think that would be worse, getting it in your eyes.
Woo. Yeah, we might need to take a water break.
All right. Yeah. Well, are you glad to have it over with?
Yeah.
Is it starting to get,
It's about the same.
Has it intensified anymore, though?
Only when I breathe a lot.
Okay. So you're probably at the peak, and it'll just get better and better as you go. But if you need you got the tears in your eyes. And your eyes are definitely red. This is not a fake reaction.
I want to see you eat some. Go ahead.
I mean, absolutely. I will. So you did 10, and it's not a punishment, but I'll do 5. It's going to be spicy. I'm still probably going to go oof. but you're already coming down. I can tell you.
You won't react to the way I did.
Your forehead does have a little glisten to it. That's awesome.
You think I'm sweating a little bit?
Yeah, just a little glisten. All right.
It cleared out my sinuses. Ooh. You like those?
Yeah. I mean, the heat's there.
They're all yours.
Oh, I will be taking these home. Yeah. Those are really good. If you enjoy spicy things, not sponsored, but these Blue Diamond Carolina Reapers are really good.
I wouldn't say they're really good.
You also had twice as many as I had. And Miranda tells me all the time my taste buds are broken. So
That's true. All right, I'm going to take a quick time out, get some water.
Yep.
I'll be right back.
All right. I only did 5. So I'm going to do another 5 here while he's getting his milk because it was too hot for him. But then who knows? Maybe just throughout the episode I'll keep eating them. So here we go. They really are pretty good. I am going to be getting these on the regular from now on. I wouldn't say they're very spicy though.
All right, I'm back. I got some milk. The milk helps a lot.
Yeah. It usually does. Milk is a good cool down. I've even seen like people who eat spicy things competitively, what they do afterwards when they're like allowed to, cool down, they eat like ice cream. Because it also helps with the mouth and then like the inside of the stuff too. So
yeah, those are spicy. Like, I'm not kidding when I tell you I don't eat spicy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like medium salsa gets me going. Like, give me mild salsa or give me nothing. Like, I don't want anything to do with anything spicy. The spiciest wings at B-Dubs that I go for.
Don't say honey barbecue.
Honey barbecue.
That's crazy.
Which, oddly enough, Parmesan garlic is considered less spicy than honey barbecue, but I disagree. I think Parmesan garlic is more spicy.
Oh. I've never gotten any spice from either of those.
Those are my 2 go-tos, honey barbecue and Parmesan garlic. I like those a lot, and I dip the crap out of them in ranch.
You're not a blue cheese guy?
Or blue cheese. I like ranch a little bit more than blue cheese, but...
All right, if I'm not careful, I'm going to end up eating this whole jar before we crack our beers. So I'll put the lid back on. Maybe if I get hungry throughout the episode, I'll
go for it. More. You bought them, so I ate 10. That's all that I will eat. It comes off the wheel. We should look really quick and see what what we have to do for next week. So next week, week 18, Packers. You said they'd win. I said they'd win. So the Vikings win, we don't spin. If the Vikings lose, we both spin.
That could have been our last spin of the season. Although I think we could play around with this. We could like pick playoff games, even though the Vikings aren't in it. We could still do something if we really wanted to. But I'm proud of you. You don't do spicy. You did some spice. I think 10 is more than fair. That's a good amount for you
I also
to do,
don't drink a whole lot of milk anymore because it kind of messes with my stomach.
Oh,
but I need it right now. And I like milk. Don't get me wrong. But.
All right. Well, let's mess with your stomach some more by giving it some delicious beer.
Let's go drink some beer.
Beer is good. All right, Ev. You brought the beer tonight. I haven't had it before, I don't think, but it looks pretty exciting.
It's Tellurian Brewing out of Charles City. We've only had like 1 or 2 of theirs, I think. Mm-hmm. And I thought of you when I saw this for several reasons. 1, it's a hazy IPA. Mm-hmm. 2, it's 6.9%. 3,
nice.
The can art was really cool and stood out to me. So you comment on those things all the time, and I'm like, this is a beer Austin would like.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll like it too. So.
I heard something interesting. Do you know why they have beer at this brewery?
Is it to lure you in?
Yeah. That's probably the first time that joke has been successfully told on our show. I've tried like 3 or 4 times. So, yeah, Tellurian. I'm excited for this one. Nectar of the Galaxies.
My beer didn't open very well.
Oh, no. That's not a good omen.
Didn't work well. It's all right. We'll figure it out. We got it.
Oh, man. Definitely looks like a nice hazy IPA. Evan, you had a very good, solid pour there. That might be coming over the top.
I had to stop.
Yeah. If you're
Good pour,
listening, do you agree that a hard pour is the right way? Like, I think I've had you come around to my way of thinking there.
I used to judge, but now...
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, we got some droppage here. We might need a paper towel.
I got a wipe. If I can reach them.
It's not too bad. Should be okay.
Got a wet wipe.
Yep. All
Protect the woodwork.
Yeah, of the Skol Main Center. All right, well, we've been kind of killing time here because we do have good beer pours, but that means there's a lot of foam at the top. I might just take the first sip out of the can here.
I can read the description really fast. It's Nectar of the Galaxies, Hazy IPA. Cool name, cool can art if you're watching us. Description says, intense citrus and tropical aromas and flavors from massive amounts of dry hopped Galaxy and Citra hops accompanied by a soft, fluffy mouthfeel from our house hazy yeast. So that might actually feel good on my spicy taste buds right now.
Maybe. Or it's going to just make your mouth burn like crazy.
It's still burning a little bit, even after a full cup of milk.
Yeah. And I don't know how this beer is going to mix with milk in there, but we got to give it a try. So, ready? Skol.
Skol. Got a nice frothy mustache. It's good. It is. It's soft and fluffy.
Yeah, well,
that's what it says.
That's not just because of the foam at the top. It is nice and smooth, while still being a solid hazy IPA.
Yeah,
it doesn't taste something that is as high as 6.9%.
I'm watching. You just poured a little bit more into your glass. Mm-hmm. There's like sediment that's kind of like just kind of trickling down. I like that. That's cool. So,
yeah, this is really good. Thanks for getting this one, Tellurian. You made another one, another good one. Shocking.
You know what they're trying to do with their beer? Right?
They're trying to lure you in. We promise we'll be done with that, but I'm just glad we now told that twice successfully. So, yeah, great beer.
All right. Well, it's not the only great thing that we get to talk about today. The Vikings won. They beat the Lions. They knocked the Lions out of the playoffs.
Yes, that is a very sweet thing to say. There are a lot of Vikings quote-unquote fans out there that are upset that the Vikings won that game because of draft positioning. We kind of talked about that last week, and I think you kind of lean towards that side of thinking.
I do. And I lean towards not just the draft positioning, but the scheduling and all the other implications.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I definitely don't. I understand the thought process behind it, but I'm never going to root against my favorite team. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you're rooting for your team to lose, then they're not your favorite team. But again, I totally understand the idea of wanting a better draft pick or better opponents for next year. But like we said last week, you never know. Like, you could be rooting and cheering right now that the Cardinals are going to be on your schedule next year because apparently the Cardinals are terrible. But a year from now, when it finally comes time to play them, it could be like, oh man,
they're the best team in the league.
Yeah, I don't want to face the Cardinals. Like, that's the most Vikings thing ever. But you never know. So live in the moment, enjoy it, root for wins. Your favorite team winning a game is always a good thing.
I would agree with that for sure. And we could get to go watch our favorite team.
I think it's going to happen, Ev. I think we're going to be in the stadium. We're working on some tickets. We're trying to get that figured out. But I think no matter what, at this point, we're within the realm of being able to get it no matter what. We've got a few different options. The Skol Hop
will be present in the Week 18 matchup against the Packers.
And it'll be our first game together.
As the Skol Hop.
Well, as the Skol Hop, it's our first game together, but we've attended a couple of games together. I think most recent, it wasn't the Cardinals game because it was the Vikings-Bears game in Soldier Field at the end of 2022. That's the first time we're going to go to a game together. And we went to 2 games together that season alone, which was pretty awesome. We went to that
Cardinals game and then the Bears game at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. The year before that, we went to Vikings-Bears, which would have been the end of the 21 season. Mm-hmm. At U.S. Bank.
Yep. But that's next week. This most previous Christmas Day game, the Vikings gave us all a gift, wearing their Excuse me, man, that was a burp that came out of nowhere. Wearing their super cool, I really like the Winter Warrior jerseys.
They're cool.
Like, I really like them. Not enough to say, like, make them their primaries. I just like that they're like a nice formal get up, for the right occasion. And I think Christmas is the perfect occasion to bring those out.
And they looked way better than the dumb black jerseys that the Lions wore. I did not like those.
I would be honest if I thought the Lions had good looking uniforms, but my goodness, when they switched up a year or two ago and they like put the blue face masks on and they added that black jersey with the blackout logo, like, I don't know, it looks cheap, generic, just bad to me. Everything about the Lions is awful, especially their fans. So really glad the Vikings were able to beat them and beat them handedly. And that's even saying, like, the Vikings offense was absolutely horrendous. Max Brosmer threw for 51 actual yards, and I had a little back and forth on Twitter with friend of the show, Dustin Baker. He pointed out when you count the sacks, the actual net passing yards the Vikings had were 3.
3 yards.
And this is like one of the lowest net passing yards totals any NFL team has ever had in a win. I think another team got like 2 one time. So, like, literally just horrendous. Jordan Addison had that 165-yard rushing touchdown. That was a beauty. And just the way he, like, dove into the end zone and actually awesome. Made it in, didn't get caught. Like, it was great. Aaron Jones, 53 yards, but, like, off 18 rushes. I think he had a few first downs. He was a factor in the game. Justin Jefferson is now only, 50-something yards away?
53 yards.
53 yards. That's the width of a football field, Ev. He is right there. So as long as whoever is playing quarterback against the Packers can throw him 3 balls, probably, I think Justin Jefferson will get 1,000 this year. And then all that to say, the offense was terrible. The defense was a sight to be seen. It was really fun. It was beautiful. It was awesome.
Well, quit spoiling my roses and thorns here, man, because that's what I wanted to talk about.
All right, let's go into it.
I'll start with my rose. My rose was that absolutely dominating defense. You just can't get a better defensive performance than the way the Vikings played on Christmas Day against the Lions. Mm-hmm. They forced Jared Goff into 5 turnovers. He had 3 fumbles and 2 picks.
That's crazy.
And it was just like they had his number all game. He was frustrated the whole time. He's coming off the sideline, slamming his helmet down, just really frustrated. The Lions going into the game were playoff hopefuls, I think. Like, they were kind of hanging on by a thread, but all they really had to do was beat the Vikings, and they were still very much in the mix. Mm-hmm. And they came and they laid an egg on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
a nice big fat Christmas egg. But man, it was fun to watch the defense. Harrison Smith continued to really kind of round into what we would hope to see out of him mid-season. It's the end of the season, but he had that early season setback that I think kind of pushed his timeline back a little bit, but he's looking good. Andrew Van Ginkel had 2 fumble recoveries, just nose for the ball, ready to scoop it up whenever it's on the ground, and Jared Goff did that 3 times total. I think there are a handful of sacks, right?
Yeah, they had 5 sacks on the game.
5 sacks.
Cashman had 1, Van Ginkel 1.5. He shared that other half with Dallas Turner. Theo Jackson had that sack where he just was untouched, blitzed, and that was a great play. Harrison Smith got a sack, which was nice to see, especially after, was it last week? Harrison Smith got a sack, and it was called back for that. Mm-hmm. It was by the book, technically a helmet-to-helmet. It was a little, it wasn't the most egregious thing I've ever seen, but if the refs are calling it by the book, yeah, it was the right call to make against Harrison Smith last week, but not. So yeah, it was nice to see him get a sack during the Lions game. But yeah, 5 sacks, it was great.
Yeah, so all in all, the defense was the shining star of this game, and that's my rose. It was fun to watch.
A little bit more on the defense there. Who is it? Stone Taki. He's a guy, a linebacker that the Vikings have brought up now, I think, 2 weeks in a row from the practice squad to be eligible for the game. He wears number 40, And if you pay attention, if he's up for the Packer game, he looks like a guy that is just playing with his hair on fire. And he's not making a ton of stats. You know, he's not changing the game too much. He's mostly on special teams and stuff. But he's always like running at 100 miles an hour, and he looks like he's super excited to be out there. It was just funny. I saw him a couple of times, like just freaking out at the end of a play. Like that dude loves being on the football field right now, even though he's not, making it crazy. I think he got one tackle in the game. But yeah, defense was insane. My Rose. And I kind of already, I'm realizing a few minutes ago that I totally just said everything that we have our roses and thorns. Right. My bad. But yeah, my rose is that, you finally get to shut up some of those Lions fans, and definitely eliminating the Lions, eliminating any division rival from the playoffs is always nice. Yeah, it's a down year for the Vikings. The last month or so has been pretty decent. But yeah, being eliminated from the playoffs yourself, never fun, especially after a crazy year like last year. But there's still things to look forward to, and eliminating the Lions from the playoffs. Seeing the after the game press conference from Dan Campbell where he's just dejected and doesn't really know what to say. It's fun. It's nice when your rival teams have a bad moment, and nobody was injured, nobody was horrifically knocked out of the game. It's just you beat the other team, and it was nice to see.
Yeah, well, and with the Lions, we all kind of, I think you and I both predicted that the Lions would kind of end up in a situation like this preseason. Mm-hmm. I think we thought the Vikings would perform better, of course, and we always look at our team in the offseason with some rose-colored glasses.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's just how most fans are, I think. Optimism is always high in July and August, and then you get into November, December, and you're like, oh, yeah, we're not as good as we thought we were. Or it's like last year, and we're like, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're 14-3, But the Lions, they lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators. Dan Campbell is, I think, a decent coach. I think he's a pretty good leader of men, but I don't know that he can plug all of those holes that were left by those guys that left. And so I think we really saw that. He had to take play calling away from the offensive coordinator midseason.
After losing to the Vikings the first time.
Yeah, and that seemed to help. I think the offensive efficiency improved when Dan Campbell took over play calling, but again, if we're using putting your thumbs in the holes of a sinking ship, you take your thumb off of one hole to plug another hole, and now that hole's leaking. And I think that's kind of what was happening with Dan Campbell and taking play calling. So to your point, it's a lot of fun to see another team, any team, get knocked out of the playoffs, especially if it's probably the most obnoxious team in the last 5 years as a Vikings fan.
I mean, probably three to four, and that's just more for their fans who have never had any foundation to stand on, all of a sudden being the most cocky D-bags in the world. And acting like their team has ever done anything to do anything at all. Like the Vikings, I don't know what the stat is right now, but the head-to-head matchup of Vikings-Lions history, I think the Vikings would have to lose the next 20 years straight to be able to have a tied head-to-head matchup.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely ridiculous.
I'm just going to look that up really quick. Yeah, the Vikings lead the series 82-45 with 2 ties. You're talking 22 years of the Vikings would have to lose each game to the Lions for 22 years straight. That's crazy. And that's even just to tie the series up. The Lions fans are obnoxious. You get one playoff run, and all of a sudden they're the best team in the world. They've never done anything.
We will be in our mid to late 60s if that were to happen. Which I can't imagine that happening. 50s?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Do some math there.
I'm an English teacher. I'm terrible at math. You know that. But 50s is right. But we'll just round up and say 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
just crazy. All right, thorns. I'll just go first. I think we can kind of put to rest the idea that Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer. You'd think if he was truly a QB whisperer, then Max Brosmer would have done more than 9 of 16 for 51 yards, a net of 3 passing yards. Brosmer has looked awful in both of his starts. I mean, the team, he's 1-1 in his starts, but he has looked pretty awful when he's been on the field outside of preseason. And if you're a quarterback whisperer, your backup, your second stringer, should be more prepared than that. If you're a quarterback whisperer, then you're not having concerns about fixing your QB1's footwork in the middle of the season. I just think KOC, maybe with the perfect style of quarterback, a veteran who's been around for a few years, that already has had a little bit of success, is a highly touted guy. Maybe that's the guy that KOC needs in order for him to be a quarterback whisperer. I just think we can probably put the idea that he can fix any quarterback, no matter who, to rest.
Well, and I wonder, too, if the influence of the quarterback's coach has anything to do with that. You look at last year, the 2024 season, the Sam Darnold season for the Vikings. Mm-hmm. Before the season, it was shortly before. Sorry, I'm still dealing with spicy residue in my throat. I think it was shortly before they drafted J.J. McCarthy. They hired Josh McCown as the quarterback's coach, and that was a big talking point because Josh McCown, I think, coached J.J. McCarthy, didn't he, in high school or something like that? Oh,
maybe. There was something there.
There was something there. Anyways,
well, I don't know. Yeah,
I wonder if there's something to that. And you're looking up Grant Udinski right now, and he's, I think, like the assistant quarterback's coach or the like passing game coordinator or something like that.
So I sorry to derail you there.
You're good.
Grant Udinski is the current offensive coordinator for the Jaguars.
Oh.
He was
with the Vikings.
He was with the Vikings last year, and I think he wasn't the QB coach. That was Josh McCown still. I think he was like an assistant, some offensive assistant, maybe the assistant QB coach. But he was pretty, in the moment, pretty publicly poached away from the Vikings by the Jaguars, and he's the offensive coordinator. He went from being, an assistant to an assistant coach to an OC for a team that is now poised. Are the Jaguars still in contention for the number 1 seed in the AFC?
I think so. Quietly, so they've been like the sneaky underdog that started terribly, and they've just kind of revived their season under the cloud of darkness.
Yeah, which I think, I don't know anything about Udinski other than that he coached for the Vikings and now is with the Jaguars. I think I saw it was from Yannick Eckhart pretty early on in the season, once JJ was having a rough year, posted a picture of Grant Udinski saying maybe he was the real quarterback whisperer.
Well, and I think that comes back to my point of like, well, maybe KOC isn't the true quarterback whisperer. Maybe he's got a really good grip on the playbook, and he's got a grip on like how to communicate a play quickly to a guy in a helmet. And we watched him do that with Josh Dobbs, who had literally been a Viking for like 48 hours before he was thrown out there and, given the reins of the offense. And we saw the aftermath of all that, of like KOC dissecting plays for him through the helmet. Like, here's what you're going to see. Snap the ball on this count and fire it to this guy over the middle or whatever, whatever the play is. And then he would do that, and it was great. And, I think KOC, and I think you've mentioned this before, I think he's got that video game play caller type of mentality where like he's got the strategy, he's got the plays, he can look at the defense, see how they line up and call the right play. But maybe the quarterback credit goes somewhere else, and maybe KOC gets the credit because he's most
the head coach,
directly responsible for some of that. But maybe there's some stuff behind the scenes. But I agree with you for sure that I think that shine has worn off, and he's now had the opportunity with J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosmer to do something. And the only quarterback that's looked even remotely decent this year was Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And they put Carson Wentz was basically like a warrior in the Coliseum at the end of his like tenure. It was nuts that they were putting him out there and he was just continuing to fight through. And I don't know that we'll see anything else from Carson Wentz moving forward.
No, I think he's going to be a free agent. He's obviously coming off shoulder surgery. He may be done.
He might
playing.
retire. Yeah.
But we can talk about him specifically a little bit later. Although, just looking at the numbers, Carson Wentz was the best quarterback on the Vikings this year, and it's really not even close. Unless you're counting Cam Akers, who had that one pass for a touchdown against who was that against? Was it against the Browns? I don't remember.
That sounds right.
And he's not even a Viking anymore. I don't think Cam Akers is on any roster right now, because he did sign with the Seahawks, but I thought they released him. Anyways, we're not going to derail on Cam Akers, but yeah, it's sad. And when I say KOC is no longer should be considered a quarterback whisperer, I'm not saying he shouldn't be considered a good coach. I'm not saying I want him fired. I'm still very much a KOC fan. I think he is a really good head coach. I just think maybe, it's the old adage, the coach and the quarterback get all the blame, but they also get all the glory. And I think we over-skewed that a little bit with Sam Darnold's playing ability and said, man, KOC can really do this with anybody. So yeah, I just think maybe just we should be a little bit more realistic. And then I think having a tough year with the young franchise quarterback is really helping develop J.J. McCarthy, and it's helping to develop Kevin O'Connell as a coach as well, in the way he calls the game and the way he, his mentality of how to lead this team. It's changing his mindset, probably in a good way.
So my thorn is very closely related, but maybe a little bit more broad. Yours is pretty narrow. This game was just abysmal in terms of the offensive performance. We've already mentioned it. 3 net passing yards, one of the lowest ever in a win for a team, which is crazy to think that this defense is so good that it can win you games. Crazy to think. But this offense has lost its way. And you said it a little bit ago, Aaron Jones was a contributor, sure. But you would still like to see, and I know Jordan Mason's out, but you'd like to see a little bit more production out of your running game. You had Ty Chandler back. He carried the ball 7 times. He actually averaged more yards than Aaron Jones.
Yeah, he had a couple decent runs when he first came in, which was nice to see. I think he got a key first down in like the third quarter.
And we haven't seen Ty Chandler in a long time. He's been on IR. And, it's been Mason and Jones, and then when it hasn't been them, it's been Xavier Scott because Ty Chandler's been on IR. But I think you like to see much more efficiency, much more production from your running game.
To put it in perspective a little bit, the Vikings had 158 rushing yards on the day, which you see that number, you're like, that's not too bad. Jordan Addison had one rush for 65 yards.
And led the team in rushing yards on that one play.
So a third of your rushing production came on one play, which rushing yards are key for you get multiple first downs off those rushing yards. You'd much rather have a running back have 20 carries for 90 yards and no touchdowns, in a game than 1 carry for 99 yards and a touchdown, because those 20 carries probably got you a few first downs. It probably helped keep the game along, keep you in front of the chains. Whereas, 1 play for 99 yards and a touchdown, that's amazing, that's incredible. It's obviously points on the board, but that's it. That's the flash in the pan. So, in this game, Jordan Addison getting that 1 rush for 65 yards and a touchdown was incredible. It was probably the tipping point in winning this game. But if you had the choice, you'd probably spread those 65 rushing yards out between, a few first downs. And then the score would be nice too. But first downs throughout the game can be more helpful than one big chunk play. But yeah, 158 rushing yards, nothing to scoff at, but they can do better.
I think the rushing game was the only really bright spot of this game. We were all sitting there hoping that, Justin Jefferson gets the 83 yards that he needs to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark again. That's kind of the sole stat that any of us are paying attention to anymore. He only had 30 yards, which, okay, not bad. He was more involved than he has been, and he was the leading receiver on the team. But Max Brosmer just could not pass the ball. Max Brosmer also got sacked 7 times for 48 yards, which counts against the overall passing yardage. So, and you're playing with a banged up offensive line, which doesn't help anything either. So all that to say, the offense was abysmal. That's a big thorn. It's a big thing that the front office coaching staff are going to have to figure out in the offseason. I think the offensive line is going to be a big emphasis over the offseason. What are we going to do at center? What are we going to do at right guard? Because Will Fries was hurt at least one point, wasn't he?
Maybe. I might be missing out on that. If you know anything about that, you know more than I do.
I think everybody on the offensive line was hurt at one point.
Okay.
I think
like at one point in the season or at one point during the Lions game?
At one point during the whole season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think I know for a fact that there was only like one game where the intended starting 5 at the beginning of the season actually all played together. They've basically shut down Christian Darrisaw.
I mean, yeah, he's on IR. He's done.
Donovan Jackson.
He's in. He's playing.
But he was in
now.
And out.
Well, he had that one stint on IR.
Yep.
Or did they put him on IR?
I can't remember. But
he definitely had
he was hurt.
Wrist surgery and came back. I don't know if they put him on IR. He was just out. Anyways, yeah, Ryan Kelly's been gone.
Ryan Kelly, he might be done for his career.
He's been on IR twice this year, including right now for this most recent.
And Brian O'Neill's been in and out with injury too.
Recently, yeah. But, well, and then Will Fries too. So, yeah, if they had been able to play with a healthy version of all of those guys all season, even with the quarterback woes, even with the inconsistent rushing game, which you can probably blame on a little bit on the offensive line, even with the weird, low performance of Justin Jefferson, which again is probably a factor of the quarterback woes. You need to. Evan's going to spill some beer here. Oh, no, you're not. Okay.
Did not.
But yeah, if they were able to play with a healthy version of this offensive line all year, this season looks different. Maybe it's not number 1 seed. Maybe it's not even playoffs, but it's different. They probably won at least one game more. Like, it's just.
It would be like Pittsburgh Steelers. We just barely got above 500, but we were still a good team type of vibe. Whereas, like, this Vikings team is sitting at 500, and we're sitting here thinking, like, this was a really bad team. This was a really bad year, But you get what I'm saying with the Steelers, right? Like, Mike Tomlin is notorious for having
a winning record,
seasons for basically his entire career as a Pittsburgh head coach. And that's good for Pittsburgh. And sometimes it's good, like... It's good enough to win the AFC North, and it's good enough to get in the playoffs. And
that's where they're sitting right now.
And so, anyways, the offense was bad. I think KOC is starting to figure out his role here, and he's starting to figure out the pieces that he has to work with. I think there was a lot of learning that happened this year. I'm excited to see how that's applied to next year.
Yeah, I think the words for this year are growth and development. And I think, like I said earlier, I think KOC is going to be a better coach because of this year and because of the development he's had to do with his quarterbacks, not just quarterback. I think adversity has really helped. I think the defense is showing already, the growth they've earned through some of the adversity they've had this year. Yeah, this season, while disappointing, there's going to be some silver linings we're going to be able to look back on and say, I think they'll be better in the future because of this, even though this is why it was a rough year this year.
We should give out some game balls.
Yep.
Quick. And then I'm going to squeeze one little mini segment in
Let's
here
do it.
before we get to the next one on our list.
Yeah.
But I'll start with my game ball. I've given the same game ball for like the last 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks.
And it's well earned.
And I don't regret anything. And I'm going to continue to give this guy a game ball. Blake Cashman, 17 tackles. Had 10 more tackles than any individual on the Lions. Had a sack in this game. He hasn't had a sack in a couple of games, I don't think. And just continues to be the quarterback of the defense. He gets the game ball. And in a game where the defense dominated and the defense was the reason we won this game, there's no better person to give a game ball than to Blake Cashman.
Absolutely. And we've said it before. I think we were talking about it last week. You've given him a game ball 3 weeks in a row now. Episode 118, you said Cashman or Grenard. I think it's fair to give multiple game balls, but ever since then, it's been Cashman. I think Blake Cashman, even if he's not flashing on the stat sheet, which the last handful of games, he's led the entire game, both teams, in tackles. But even if he's not flashing on the stat sheet, he's still the quarterback of the defense. He's the green dot, but not just the guy. Like, you can have a green dot, and I think at this stage of his career, Ivan Pace, when he's had the green dot, he's kind of more just the like, all right, guys, coach said we're going to run this play, and then that's kind of it. And maybe that's unfair of me. I've never been in the Vikings defensive huddle when he's been out there, but I think Ivan Pace has been more just the parrot, like, hey guys, we're running this, coach says this. Whereas Blake Cashman, and I've also heard about the guy that I'm going to give a game ball to here in a minute. I think Blake Cashman and Harrison Smith is who gets my game ball. They kind of get some more coach on the field authority. Mm-hmm. So Cashman can get the play and say, all right, guys, we're running this and this play. And he's also like, you line up here, you line up there. Hey, you're a little bit too far right. Like, he's manipulating the defense on the field. I've also heard recently that Flores and Harrison Smith kind of have like a singular mind almost, in where Flores will kind of give the idea of what he wants them to play, and Harry will be like, all right, this is what we're playing, you go this, you go there. He's kind of also like that tandem quarterback on the defense. And I think we're seeing the last probably since this win streak has started, and probably a little bit even before that, Harrison Smith has turned the dial back, and he is, playing like peak Harrison Smith. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what exactly happened in the training camp, that he missed basically half of training camp and he was gone for the early part of the year. I don't know if he missed games or not, but he was not himself. We were saying, man, it's kind of sad that Harrison Smith is not, Harrison Smith anymore. But the last handful of games, month and a half or so, he is peak Harrison Smith, which is great. And I think that's why the defense has been playing so well. So Cashman and Smith, those guys are skyrocketing this defense.
Well, and I think I heard in an interview that Harrison Smith even told a reporter, like, yeah, Flores kind of basically just tells me, like, I can do whatever I want. Like, I trust my gut, trust my instincts. Mm-hmm. If he puts me, on the line in this, like, fake disguised, are we going to blitz or are we not? And if I feel like I've got the open lane to go blitz, I've got the green light anytime I want it. And I think he's a smart enough football player to take it mm-hmm. when it's there, or to drop back when it's not there. Mm-hmm. And I think we saw that against the Lions. We saw that 2 weeks ago, because he's had sacks, I think, in back-to-back games now.
Well, I think the one that he had against the Giants, that was the one that we talked about earlier, that was called back for
that's right.
The personal foul.
Well, then I guess he's had 3. Then he's had the one that's been called back, but going back even one more game than that. Now I gotta look back at the schedule because I forget. Against the Cowboys, he sacked Dak Prescott against the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, if we count the one that didn't count against the Giants, he's got a sack in 3 straight games. Mm-hmm. And again, to your point, that he's just been peaking. really at the end of this season, which has been fun to watch. But I think there's a lot of trust there with Brian Flores. And I think he trusts both Cashman and Smith to really just kind of put guys in position. I remember earlier this season, Harrison Smith, when Cashman was still on IR, Harrison Smith literally grabbed Ivan Pace Jr., put him somewhere else, and then Ivan Pace Jr. just got the sack. And Harrison Smith was basically doing what Cashman does, and I think Cashman might just do it with his words and signals, and Harrison Smith literally had to just pick him up and move him.
That was right before the ball was snapped. It was like he had, as parents, sometimes, we have young children. Sometimes rather than say now, walk over there and go put that away, sometimes you just pick them up and put them where they need to go. That's what Harrison Smith was doing in that specific situation.
Yes.
Pick him up and put him where he needs to go. Go.
So all of that to say, good game balls, I think, for both of us. It's very appropriate that they both go to defensive players, arguably the two best defensive players that the Vikings have.
Yeah, the only other player on the team I could have even thought about giving a game ball to would have been Will Reichard. And I think he should be the NFC Pro Bowl kicker. He was 3 for 3 on field goals with a long of 56. Did he have multiple 50-plus yard field goals? I think he did. And then, he was perfect again on extra points. He has yet to miss an extra point.
He's perfect on extra points in his career.
This is his second season, but he's still... He is the kicker we've been looking for our whole lives. And even with the Blair Walsh before that Seattle playoff game, Blair Walsh was amazing, but I think Will Reichard's even better. That's the only other player I could have thought to give a game ball to.
So a mini segment, or we could blow it up into a full segment if
Let's
we wanted to.
Yeah, it's our podcast. Whether we have stuff written down or not, we don't have to do anything.
We spend a lot of time talking about the quarterbacks, which we can do, and we can look ahead. But I think another really big talking point, and maybe a talking point that will be more relevant soon rather than later, is Brian Flores.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? And I feel like the furnace surrounding him has been heating up with Brian Flores. Where's he going to go? I saw something today that the Cowboys are interested in hiring him as their head coach. I think he's
defensive coordinator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're Brian.
Schottenheimer. It's Schottenheimer.
Brian Schottenheimer.
Marty? No, Brian. I don't know.
It's a shot. They call him Shotty. I'm just mixing him up with, I think, his dad, who coached the Chargers back in the day.
Way back, yeah. And a few other teams, I think.
Yeah, I think it's we're going to go with Brian Schottenheimer, and I'm okay with being wrong. Comment, like, and subscribe if I'm wrong.
We could Google it, but we're not going to.
No, it's not worth it. Shotty. We'll go with Schottenheimer. But yeah, I've heard this is his first year as the Cowboys head coach.
That's true.
And
I forgot about that.
I heard the same rumor you did, that the Cowboys would be very interested in him as their defensive coordinator for next year.
I guess maybe I just misread the headline. I thought it said head coach. But I forgot that they have a first-year head coach and they're not moving on from him. I think there are plenty of head coaching vacancies, like New York. I think that's maybe the front runner. The Giants, that is, the New York Football Giants. That are currently operating with an interim head coach after they fired Dable.
The Titans, I think New York and Tennessee are the only official as of right now, unless I'm mistaken. But I think those are the only teams that have already fired their head coaches. There will be a few more, probably. You could say maybe Miami. You could say...
There's no way he goes back to Miami.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about that. But there's going to be probably another few head coaching openings. So,
correct. So I think it'll be really interesting to see. And I also know, and I think you've seen the headlines, that the Vikings are actively working to extend him as their defensive coordinator. So there's kind of just the poker game going on of like, okay, who's going to put more chips on the table? Who's going to bid higher? And where's he going to go? What does he want? Does he want that head coaching job? Does he want that notoriety? Does he want the leadership of being a head coach? Or is he content to stay here in Minnesota and keep doing what he's doing and continue to light it up like he's been doing for the last handful of seasons?
It's funny you bring this up because 7 minutes ago, former two-time Minnesota Viking Anthony Barr tweeted, excuse me, I need to get this burping thing figured out. Anthony Barr tweeted 7 minutes ago, Vikes better give Flo a king's ransom. And I agree. We've talked with friend of the show, Dustin Baker, who seems to have a little bit of knowledge on this. He kind of gave us the idea that he knows Flores is probably one of the highest paid coordinators in the NFL, if not the highest paid coordinator in the NFL. So I think the compensation part of it shouldn't be an issue. Everything also we've ever heard about the Wilfs is that whenever they've been asked to, cough up some dollars for a player or coach or anything, a stadium, anything, the Wilfs, if they're behind it, if it's good for the team, they're good for, financing whatever needs to be financed. I think we're both in agreement. As of right now, we would like Brian Flores back.
100%. 1,000%.
You hear some Vikings fans, and I guess my question to you is, are you among them that would say like, hey, if you could only keep one, you better get rid of KOC and make Flores your head coach? I'm not quite there. I think they're a really good tandem. I kind of get the sense from everything we've heard from friend of the show, Dustin, from really everything, every other article and stuff, Brian Flores seems to enjoy being in Minnesota. I think we've gotten the sense he and his family enjoy being in Minnesota. I think he still has like high school aged child or children. I don't think he would, from everything we've heard, I don't think Brian Flores would leave the Vikings for a coordinator position. It would stink. It would suck. I wouldn't be happy, but I would understand it if he left for a head coaching position. There's only 32 of those jobs out there. You can't fault him for that. If somebody offered to hire him as their head coach, that could happen. I don't think he'd leave for a lateral move, especially when his defense is highly touted. The Vikings are a better team with him and his defense, and compensation doesn't seem to be an issue. I think all of those things, unless he were actively saying, like, I hate coaching here, or they're not getting players that I want, like, I think everything that we hear is he's the reason Blake Cashman is a Viking. He's the one that's saying, hey, this defender, we should probably go get him. He was saying, Isaiah Rodgers, I'm super pumped that we got that guy in free agency when I had never heard of Rodgers' name before. And he's getting some feedback and some backing in his coaching and his recommendations. So I think he is well liked in Minnesota. I think he likes being in Minnesota. I would be shocked if he left for another coordinator position.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. And I don't know. I think you've got a really good 1-2 punch in KOC and Brian Flores. I am not among those that's willing to just dismiss KOC and say, Brian Flores, you're the head coach. Like that. Now, if ever we got to a spot where it's obvious that KOC has lost his grip on things, maybe next season, hopefully not. Mm-hmm. Next season, 2 seasons from now, a couple seasons from now, he's in a spot the Vikings are not winning games, and it's pretty obvious that, the playbook is stale. He's not doing what he needs to do to really, win games anymore. Mm-hmm. At that point, okay, cut your losses, buy KOC, see you later. Brian Flores, you're the interim head coach, and then see what happens from there. Like if he can really hold his own, and he's still there to begin with, as the defensive coordinator, then sure, it could be a consideration, but I don't know. I think at this point, I love having a really good offensive-minded head coach and arguably the league's best defensive coordinator as your DC. Mm-hmm. And you just roll with that, see what happens.
Especially after the way the defense has looked the last month and a half or so. Just incredible. I'm sure if we look back at the schedule, there's probably been a game where I've been on this show saying, I don't care, get rid of Flores, like, whatever. But, maybe it was after the Chargers game where the Vikings lost like 37-0. Or, whatever it was. I probably said something like that, like, I don't even care, and let him go. But you got to look at the season as a whole, and the defense as a whole has looked pretty incredible all season. I think KOC and Flores are a good tandem, and I just don't see a lot of reasons outside of a head coaching job why Flores would leave. Because you'd think you'd hear, like, you hear when, Stephon Diggs is disgruntled in the building. You hear when a player is less than happy in their situations. We haven't heard, Flores is unhappy in Minnesota. It's just he's a coordinator, not a head coach. So, and when you're actively suing a team in the NFL, like, that doesn't bode well for getting another head coaching job. It's KOC and, the Vikings, but it's KOC dictating, okay, I want this guy as my DC. To get a head coaching job, it would be like a GM and an owner signing off on it. Like, okay, yeah, this is our franchise. He's the head of our franchise. Let's go. So outside of a head coaching job, I'd be shocked if Flores was gone, and I think the Vikings are better if he stays, and he's probably not better if he stays, because if he could get a head coaching job, you should go for it. But I hope he stays at least one more year.
I think for now, Vikings fans are probably safe in thinking that Brian Flores is going to be back for all the reasons you've already mentioned, and for some of the other things we've kind of fleshed out. Like, there's really no other logical place for him to go, and anything else outside of Minnesota would mostly be a lateral move for him. Mm-hmm. And he's currently in the midst of litigation, with the league. And so, maybe it's worth buying his time for him to just stay in Minnesota, continue making pretty decent money being a defensive coordinator, mm-hmm. not having the responsibility of being the head coach. You don't have to go in front of the media as often, and you can just kind of, do you, and then, mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe a couple years from now, you find that right head coaching position when inevitably one comes up, because there's always a head coaching position that comes up. Yep. But I don't know. If I'm Brian Flores, I stay put for now. Like, no, the Vikings are paying me pretty good money. I got a really good roster, and I've got a great offensive-minded head coach who will not only handle the offense, but will handle all the head coaching stuff. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, just as a measly high school head coach, like, when you're the head coach, you deal with everything. Mm-hmm. Like, you are the backstop for everything for your program, and even the things you don't want to be responsible for, you're responsible for. And Brian Flores might be thinking, like, I don't have to deal with that. It's not my job.
The compensation comes with, responsibilities. As a head coach, I'm sure KOC probably spent more time than he ever wanted to talking about how to get luggage and equipment over to Dublin, and I assume Flores probably didn't have to worry much at all about any of that, unless
my stuff's gonna get over there.
Yeah, it's all good. And we know nothing about how they operate, but being a head coach seems like a lot more to do, which is why you say things like, well, maybe he should give up play calling, or maybe, Grant Udinski did do a lot more than we think he did, because like we said, the head coach gets all the glory and all the blame. So, and that doesn't quite come the same way with being a coordinator, which maybe Flores is getting the best of every world right now. I also looked it up. Flores is only 44 right now. He has at least 20, 30 more years of coaching ahead of him. It's not like he's trying to, man, I'm already 60. if I'm ever going to be a head coach, I need to take it right away. Like, he's still at a good spot where he's coveted. He's young. He has time to be able to be picky about, I'm not going to take that job, or I will leave this job for that. Like he's got the benefit of being able to be picky. I just hope it results in at least one more season with the Vikings.
So to maybe tie up this whole segment here, I saw an interesting headline. It wasn't an article that I really read in its entirety. It has nothing to do with the Vikings, but it has everything to do with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
And, the Chiefs notably, were in the Super Bowl last year, missed the playoffs this year. And I think it was Travis Kelce was quoted saying something like, you don't make the playoffs every year. Mm-hmm. And that's not the head coach's fault. It's not the offensive coordinator's fault. It's not the defensive coordinator's fault. It's not Patrick Mahomes' fault. And maybe I'm just kind of bringing all of this together in my own mind as I'm talking through this. But basically, I think there was an interview with Travis Kelce, and I think it was basically just like, listen, like sometimes there are down years, and that's just okay. Like, just because you have a down year doesn't mean everybody's fired and you start over.
Yeah.
And I think the Chiefs are a good example of that. Like, just because the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs this year after being in the Super Bowl for the last 5 years doesn't mean the sky is falling in Kansas City. Just because they're going to move from Kansas City, Missouri to Kansas City, Kansas doesn't mean the sky is falling in Missouri or Kansas or both, whatever. Like, things are fine. And yeah, there will be some movement in that organization. And who knows? Travis Kelce might not be a Chief next year. Okay. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes might have to throw the ball to some other tight end. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Great. Whatever. Patrick Mahomes might be gone. I don't know.
I mean,
probably not.
I doubt it.
But things come, things go. And we tend to, as fans, and I think the media definitely tends to hyperbolize all of this stuff. Like, oh, and we did it. I mean, I think I'm calling us out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a month ago, the sky is falling. The Vikings are terrible. Fire everybody. Fire Kwesi. Fire KOC.
Still fire Kwesi. Relieve him of his duties. We can disagree on that, and that's perfectly fine.
Well, and I told you how I felt about that. Like, if you're going to fire him, you have to fire KOC. And if you're not willing to fire KOC, then I think Kwesi stays. And you ride this out a little bit longer and see what can happen. Mm-hmm. And I still hold to that. And again, you said it. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the fun about sports, is we can argue.
But we're sitting here talking about an 8-8 Vikings team that could end up with a winning record.
I hope so.
I hope so too. And I kind of hoped that they would tank for the advantage for next year, mm-hmm. which could be a little short-sighted. I don't know. But all of that, I think, comes back to maybe the premise of our whole podcast here, that we're just a couple of dudes drinking beer and talking about football. And we don't know much. We just know what we read and what we see and what we hear. Mm-hmm. And we can speculate. And that's what we do. So, I don't know. I think our off season is full of talking points. We haven't even touched on quarterbacks, which I think
that's okay.
We could spend 3 episodes.
That's another series of episodes
talking about quarterback possibilities for the Vikings. We could spend a whole episode defending JJ McCarthy. We could spend a whole episode getting rid of JJ McCarthy and figuring out who else comes in and replaces him. But it's all speculation.
Yep.
And we don't know anything. We're just sitting here drinking beer and talking about stuff. So,
all right. Well, the Vikings finish off. This will be the last game of their season, hosting the Packers.
And we could be in attendance. I'm excited.
I'm comfortable enough saying we will be in attendance.
Probably will be in attendance.
At this point, there's a very short list of things that could make it so that we're not in attendance. yeah, it's more. I'd say it's more likely than not that the Skol Hop will be there. If you are going to that game, let us know. We're always up for meeting up with people and talking to some people.
Yeah, I'll probably like wear my Skol Hop stuff.
I'll have something Skol Hop on, maybe my hat, but maybe I'll be rocking a jersey or something like that.
I might wear
too.
my Warren Moon jersey.
Oh, that'd be a good one to wear.
Black one.
My nicest jersey is a guy who quit on the team this year, so I don't think I can. I don't feel good about wearing that jersey right now.
That's my nicest jersey too.
Yeah,
I'm probably not gonna wear.
Yeah, I have that Justin Jefferson hockey jersey that came out a few weeks ago, which I'm kind of disappointed in, but it's still kind of cool. Maybe I'll wear that. I don't know.
It could be kind of cold. Might be.
I could throw like a hoodie. It's big, so I could definitely throw like a sweatshirt on underneath. Anyways, Skol Hop will be there probably. Probably.
There's like a 95% chance that we're there.
So if you have any tips too, because we haven't been to very many games, let us know places to eat or stay or best concession stands in the stadium. Yeah, let us know. I did get a tip about a nice brewery that does all-you-can-eat breakfast before the games. I might check that out. Yeah, if you're listening, thanks to whoever gave me that tip. But yeah, Vikings, Packers. I tried to look at betting lines today. There's not much out because it's still technically next week. I think by tomorrow things might be updated for betting lines. But
Vikings are 6.5 point favorites. On
really,
ESPN.
That is way different than I saw even earlier today. Earlier today, I saw the Packers were favored by 1.5, but that was probably before things were really updated.
Yeah, I would expect that has everything to do with the fact that Jordan Love is hurt, Malik Willis got hurt, and the Packers have literally nothing to play for because they are locked in as the 7 seed.
Do you see an over-under on that? It'd be
over-under is 37.5.
Okay, so Vegas is predicting a low-scoring game. One that apparently the Vikings are almost a full touchdown favorited by. I'd be okay with that. I'm still in the mindset of I don't even care if it gets you. What's the highest or the? There's a weird way of phrasing draft picks. The highest draft pick in terms of like highest number. I'm talking like crappiest draft pick. What's the worst draft pick you can have without being a playoff team? Does that make sense? Did that sentence make any sense?
17?
I think it's like 19. I think the first, like the worst playoff team, the first ones to lose with the worst record, they get like 19. Well, there's 14 playoff teams. So that would be 18. Pick 18 is when playoff teams start earning. So 17. Yeah, you're right.
I was right.
Yeah, you were right.
I'm not the math guy, but I figured that one out.
Is that right? There's 14 playoff teams. 32 minus 14 is 18, right?
So I was close.
Yeah.
I said
17.
No,
but you answered the question correctly. I said, what's the worst pick you could have without being a playoff team? So very likely the Vikings will have the worst pick without being a playoff team.
Well, what's funny is, today is Sunday. We're actually recording on a Sunday for once, which doesn't always happen.
Yeah, sorry to mess up your schedules, both of our listeners here.
But I went to, our typical Sunday routine is we go to church and then we go to brunch with my parents afterwards. And my dad, I walked into the restaurant this morning with my dad, and my dad was like, yeah, I was watching the Eagles and the Bills last night. And I'm like, I think you watched a replay of the Eagles and the Bills from last year because the Eagles and the Bills play today. And he's like, oh, really? And I'm like,
oh, no.
So then we're sitting at the brunch table, and my mom had no idea that my dad and I had already covered this. And my mom was like, yeah, I heard that the Vikings could have a shot at the wild card. And I'm like, Mom, the Vikings were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs
weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Like there's no hope for the Vikings. So anyways, it was funny that I had to like educate my parents on all of this.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah. That was my morning. That's what I had to deal with.
That's awesome. All right, so Vikings apparently are favored by 6.5 points as of right now. That'll change.
It will.
With an over/under of 37.5. That's pretty low.
Yep.
That's each team scoring less than 20 points. Like that's pretty low. What do you think, Evan? What are the keys to the Vikings coming away with a victory on that one?
The defense has to keep playing like it's played. And I mean, with an over/under like that, I mean, you gotta hold this Packers offense to definitely under 15, and under 10 again would be awesome. But it's got to come down to a defense, not just a defensive game plan, but a good offensive game plan as well. And a win doesn't really mean a whole lot for the Vikings. We know that. It's more just a pride thing. It's let's not let the Packers come into US Bank and walk out with a win.
Especially when they don't have anything to play for.
Yeah, and they're not going to be playing a lot of their starters because they know they're the 7 seed. They know they're going to be on the road, wild card weekend. They don't know who they're going to play probably, but they know they're going to play whoever the 2 seed is.
No, they'll play, the 2 seed. I was going to say they'll play the 1 seed, but the 1 seed gets the bye.
1 seed gets the bye. So, they might be kind of watching scores to see who they'll play and where they go, where they have to travel to. But for the most part, it's like nothing about this game really changes anything. They don't want to injure anybody. They want to keep people healthy. So Jordan Love won't play. I can almost guarantee that. I would be surprised if we see anything from Jacobs. I would be surprised if we see anything from Micah Parsons. Even some of their stud receivers, like Dobbs, Matthew Golden. There's a couple other guys that I'm probably blanking on, but I doubt that we'll see any of those guys really. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings win either, just by virtue of the fact that the Packers aren't playing anybody meaningful. So it'll be an interesting game for sure. Yeah,
especially since the Packers, not that it changes the Vikings-Packers game, but full disclosure, we're recording, as of right now, the Bears are playing the 49ers in the fourth quarter. It's a tie game right now, and the 49ers are driving down to try to score to make it not a tie game anymore. But as of right now, the Bears hold the 2 seed in the NFC. And I don't think they mathematically can't be the number 1 seed. But if they are the 2 seed, then the Packers would travel to Chicago for, probably one of the more highly watched wild card playoff games in recent memory. But yeah, that was all just to say the Bears might be the number 2 seed. I think the Vikings win this one. My key for the Vikings to be victorious is just like you said. The defense has to play just as well as they have been. Maybe not just as well. I think they've been playing lights out the last few weeks. And, I don't think they have to play up to that standard, but I think they will. Especially, if they've been playing this well since being eliminated from the playoffs, there's no reason to let off the gas against, a very hated division rival, unless there's some unexpected injuries. We haven't seen, as of right now, an injury report for that. We still won't. It's Sunday now. We won't see it till, I think, Wednesday, or when the first injury reports come out. I think Kevin O'Connell might speak to the media on tomorrow afternoon, like if he normally does on Mondays. So we don't have a lot of information. The Vikings have had a little bit of a mini bye since Christmas. We don't know if J.J. McCarthy is going to play. He had what was described as a minor fracture that could be looked at as a bone bruise. But yeah, J.J. McCarthy may very well not be playing, although he might end up playing. It could be another Brosmer game. I think the defense has to play well, and you have to have some semblance of a run game. And that's kind of what I'll say the Vikings had against the Lions, was some semblance of a run game.
With that extra boost of that 65-yard end around to Jordan Addison for a touchdown, which boosted everything by 30-some%.
Yep.
You know,
So I think the Vikings, the Packers have nothing to play for. They can't help or hurt them. They can only hurt themselves by getting injured. Winning this game by 1,000 points wouldn't help the Packers at all. Like it's just all for pride. Maybe some of their players, they probably do have some like contract incentives to hit. So that might be what individual players have to root for. Obviously, it's also like an NFL game. Coaches don't want to lose. Like nobody wants to lose this, but they have no reason to give 1,000% and maybe hurt themselves by winning. The Vikings also really have not much to play for. Losing this game probably helps their draft status 1 pick, maybe. I don't know exactly enough to know about that, but they've been winning, so they're already kind of screwed in the draft status as far as missing the playoffs. So they're going to have the 16th or 17th pick. Like that's just how it's going to work. This is a pride game. This is all about this is all about pride, and I think the Vikings at home in front of fans that have been coming to games even though they've been eliminated for a few weeks now, with hopefully J.J. McCarthy, a quarterback who needs some more development and every snap he can get, the Vikings should win this game. And as far as pride goes, the Vikings have more to win with pride than the Packers do. The Vikings could hurt themselves, morality-wise by losing. So just go out and win.
I have a few hopes.
Okay.
A few like wishes, even though Christmas is over, so they're not Christmas wishes, but maybe
a New Year's miracle.
New Year's wishes. I hope J.J. McCarthy plays.
Me too.
I hope he plays. I think this would be a good game for him to continue to develop. It's meaningless. It doesn't matter. Put him out there. See what happens. Unless his hand is truthfully like that banged up that he can't throw the ball, put him out there. Even if it's for the first quarter or just the first half, like put him out there, see what happens. Give him some meaningful reps in games. So that's my first hope. My second hope is that the Vikings fans don't just sell all of these tickets to Packers fans.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because
that's just, hey, Vikings fans, if you have season tickets or you have tickets, just don't ever sell them to Packer fans, even whether the game's meaningful or not. That's the worst. That's the worst thing you can do.
And my third hope is that we are there.
I think that's the easiest hope to get going. As far as I'm concerned, we're like 97%.
Right, it's up 2% from earlier in the episode.
Did I say 95?
I said 95. So we're on the right trajectory here.
All the dominoes are stacking up towards yes, we're going. At least from my perspective. I don't know about your perspective.
Well, I won our fantasy league, and I'm getting some money, and I'm going to put that money towards. I'm following through on what I said last week.
You. Maybe buy us around while we're there with that money. I can't let you buy my ticket.
We're gonna figure this out, and it'll be fine. This is money that wasn't expected, and I won.
Well, you don't have to do that. It would also be nice to know when this game's going to happen, whether it's Saturday the 3rd or Sunday the 4th.
I don't know that we're gonna really find that out until tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna wait till the Monday night game tomorrow night to do that. You're looking at prices right now, though.
I just saw the lowest price I've seen listed at
$91. Okay. So ticket prices are dropping, so that's good.
Yeah. Packer fans, you are not allowed to come.
Yep. Don't come to US Bank. Yeah. We'll be nice to you.
Well, we'll be nice. Maybe like politely jabbing.
We'll give you a hard time.
But yeah.
Yeah. This is a funny little sidetrack. I took my daughters to Culver's yesterday for lunch because my wife was out doing something, and it was all of us. We were all together.
You went to Culver's on Packer Week?
We went to Culver's.
Evan.
Culver's is good.
Evan.
There's only a few good things. That come out of Wisconsin. Number 1, Culver's. Number 2, cheese curds of any kind. Cheese curds are wonderful.
You're not even listing the correct number 1, Ev.
What?
Beer. Evan.
All right, beer, but we don't drink Wisconsin beer on this podcast.
No.
But I was getting to it. The third best thing to come out of Wisconsin is Spotted Cow.
Okay,
Or
that's pretty good.
New Glarus.
Moon Man
Moon
from
Man.
New Glarus.
From New Glarus.
Yeah.
Anyways, all that to say, we were sitting in Culver's here in Iowa,
Yeah.
by the way.
Okay.
Neutral state, but probably leaning towards the Vikings because we're here. And
I think our area leans towards the Bears, if any team.
if we're going by the number of podcasts about NFL teams,
We don't know. We don't know.
I,
There might be another Bears podcast.
if you're a Bears podcast out there, let us know because we'll collaborate
Maybe.
politely.
Maybe, yeah, politely. Friendly. We have a Bear fan on our show frequently.
We do. But I'm getting to the point. We've derailed this far enough.
Thank you
I was
for
at
listening.
Culver's, and the Packers were playing yesterday.
Okay.
Right? The Packers played the Ravens yesterday.
Yep.
On Saturday. The Saturday after Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this family that came into Culver's all decked out in their Packers stuff. And
That's disgusting.
Both of my girls were like, Dad, they're wearing Packers stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I saw. And they're like, what should we do? And I'm like, we'll be nice, but we don't have to look at them.
Yeah. Pretend they're not there.
And that was a memorable moment for my daughters.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm hoping that US Bank Stadium is purple, not green.
Mostly purple. Get those cheese heads out of there.
Should we buy some cheese grater hats? I would buy a cheese grater hat.
Yeah, I'd wear that before I'd wear most anything else. Evan, what did you think about this beer?
This was a really good beer.
Yeah.
I like it. I want to know what you want to say about this beer because I feel like this is your beer. This is like squarely in your category.
It's in my wheelhouse. Hazy IPA,
I liked it.
6.9%.
But
Yeah, I think there's a little bit too much green on the can art.
that's fair.
No,
Based
it's
on what we were just talking about.
it's really good. It's, legit. It's one of the better hazy IPAs I've had. Tellurian, I don't think I've ever had a bad beer from you. This beer's really good. If you're looking for a good hazy IPA, the Nectar of the Galaxies, go for it. It's awesome. It's another good Iowa brewed beer.
Did they lure you in?
Oh, absolutely, 1,000%.
Mission accomplished for
Mission accomplished.
the alien who's fighting for the Nectar of the Galaxies. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of the can art.
Evan, if people want to reach out to us, how can they do that?
They should just find us on the internet. They should Google us. The Skol Hop. Just type it in.
Yeah, they'll find us. They'll find Instagram, YouTube,
Yep.
Twitter, Facebook, everything. Our website. Yeah.
SKOLHOP. The Skol Hop. Just type it in. You'll find us. Website hasn't been updated in a while. But
It's
that's
there,
okay.
though. It's there, though.
That's okay.
There's even merch. We need to get that figured out, but there's merch.
Yeah, we did. I think we got a message today about merch,
Yep.
and we've got it.
Yeah.
It's just it's.
We'll
some
get it
of
figured out.
Some of it fell apart, and we're trying to rebuild it, and we'll get there.
Absolutely.
We'll get there.
All right, man. I've had a lot of fun.
This is a really good beer.
Really good beer. Great episode. Maybe best episode yet.
Episode 120.
My goodness.
Man, that's a lot.
Skol.
Skol.